when we are live. Oh, we're live. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Baldwin. What is going on? Co-founder of, whoa, the video just got really close to my
Yeah,
face.
I was like, whoa, Nick's whole head is right here now.
Whoa, my whole ginormous cranium is in your face. I'm going to back up a little bit because I feel like it's very large. Everyone, thank you so much for being on the webinar today. My name is Nick Baldwin, co-founder of Lab Coat Agents. I've got a very special guest. Her name is Jessica Lentz, and she is coming to us from Colorado. Where in Colorado are you coming to us from?
I'm in Castle Rock, so like 35 minutes south of Denver.
Yeah, I'm familiar. And today we're going to talk about Jessica's 3-hour workday and designing a real estate business that fits your life. And, you know, a lot of people are like, whatever, like this isn't, you know, this is just a lot of smoke and mirrors. She has to work more than 3 hours a day. She can't possibly sell 35 to 40 million a year just doing, doing whatever it is in just a short period of time. But I feel like we were just talking before we went live, like my mom, who was a great realtor, but my mom just didn't have a ton of boundaries. You know what I mean? But like, you know, I was in high school. I mean, she saw her kids grow up. Like, it wasn't like she wasn't missing out on anything, but like she didn't set a lot of boundaries. And I feel like now with social media and with a lot of distractions on our phones, with dings going off all the time, computer, emails, text messages, you have to set boundaries or else you're going to lose your mind. Like, you're going to go crazy. But before we get started, tell us a little bit about you, like what your business looks like, what your production looks like. And then I'm just going to jump in with some super hard hitting questions.
Yeah. Thanks for having me today. So I'm a solo agent. I have a transaction coordinator, and I just hired a VA kind of executive assistant level last October. So that's obviously provided me a little bit more leverage this past, 8, 9, 10 months. I do on average anywhere between 30 and 40 million a year. Last year, I backed down a little bit and did about 20 and 25.
How dare you?
I know. We just traveled a lot last year, and that's what we did. So anyways, I've got 2 boys. I know anyone on here knows that I am like that mom. I just love my boys. My oldest is 24. He's my twin. My youngest is almost 16. And then I've been married for 21 years. So that's it. Pretty easy.
And you're with EXP.
Correct.
I mean, just letting everyone know. So tell us, before we get into it, I want to know about what your day looks like, and then I want to pick it apart. So
yeah,
what does your day, like, starting from, when you turn on your phone, what you do and what time it is, and the actions that you go through every single morning?
So prior to hiring JJ, that's my admin, I didn't even get on my phone until 9 o'clock in the morning, because you get on your phone, you're automatically distracted. So I just like to say that, because anyone who's heard me speak before knows that used to be like a really big thing for me, was absolutely no cell phone prior to 9 a.m. That's changed a little bit over the course of this last year, because it allows me the opportunity to get some more things done as far as like social media posting and stuff like that. So my day, usually I'm up between 6 and 6:30, and downstairs in my office and on the computer by 7. So my first hour is going through all of my files, sending, I have started to schedule my texts out so that way by 9 o'clock, all of my clients have been reached out to. They get an update from me the first 30 days that they're on the market. They get an update from me every business day. And then obviously on the weekends, if there's something to update them on. So hour 1 is client maintenance, is what I like to call it. Checking in, following up, making sure everyone's taken care of. Hour 2 is lead follow-up, social media posting. I do birthday cards, handwritten cards. I do all of that stuff. And then hour 3 is, if I'm doing events or I have something else going on, hour 3 is like cleanup crew. That's just anything that needs to get done to continue to push the business forward. So when I talk about a 3-hour workday, it isn't like I'm doing all my showings and all this other stuff in that 3 hours. It's the same thing that has to happen every single day to move the business forward. And it's a non-negotiable for me.
But I want to talk about Okay, so yeah, obviously there are other things that come up throughout the day, but like you get a lot of the most important things out of the way, like your client communication, you know, the things that need to get, the things that people want to, they want to know what's going on with their listing, or if you're looking for a house for somebody, they want to know what's going on in that situation. But talk to me about your client communication, because you have a very specific way in which you communicate. Like it's not necessarily like every single day when you have you're very listing heavy, first of all. So let's just say that definitely helps. Being very listing heavy gives you a lot more freedom than if you're buyer heavy. But, and not to say that you don't work with buyers, because you do, but you're very listing heavy. So talk about how you keep your sellers from reaching out to you every single second to find out what's going on. What's your strategy around keeping them updated?
So they get every single Monday, they get an update from me regarding marketing, Zillow views, what we're doing, what the back end looks like, showing feedback. They get a very detailed email from me every single Monday, and it's every single Monday by 9 a.m. So I like to stress that everything is done by 9 a.m. And it's because I know that if they get the communication from me early in the day, they're not going to bug me later in the day, right? So for me, it's dealing with everything up front. So they're not running my day. I'm running my day.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Say that again.
So let's talk about the email. So every single Monday, you send out an email to all of your sellers, and you do that before 9 a.m. Right now, how many active listings do you have?
I have 12 right now.
Okay, you have 12. Do you have how many, what's under contract or what's in escrow?
I have 7 under contract right now.
Okay, so I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, the under contract gets a different type of email, or okay, so let's talk about the active listing email. So every single Monday before 9 a.m., your sellers are going to get an email. Let's talk a little bit more in detail what's in that email. Like it's a template, so it's not like you're recreating the wheel every single time. But what are the different bullet points?
So I always start with good news. So the headline is good news, right? So we had free showings, we had interest rates didn't go up, whatever. Yeah. Headline 2 is it's not bad news, it's just news. So it's,
the bad news is there's no offers, it didn't sell yet. No.
The bad news is maybe we didn't have showings.
Well, hold on a second before you go on. I want to say, because I just thought of this and I'll forget. You give them so much information in terms of how many, well, you're going to get into this, but like, it's almost like if you have a listing that's sitting for too long, which we all have, it's almost like you're saying in a nice way, this is how many people looked at it on Zillow. This is how many people favorited it. This is how many people looked at it on Realtor.com. This is how many people did whatever it is with it. This is how many showings we had. This is how many appointments. If it didn't sell, it's not like you're like, told you so, we need to lower the price. You're just giving them the information and they can figure that stuff out, right? So let's go back to the bullet point. So the good news and then the news, right?
Yeah. And then I go through the marketing with them. So like our Zillow views this week are at X. And then I always make sure to tell them that like saves are not indicative of people who love your house. It automatically saves when you look at Zillow. I use home.com, and then I go through our data in the MLS. So like we had 6 people added to your portal this week, and I made sure to email those agents and reach out to let them know about the house. And then it's data points. We're at 13 showings. The data shows that it's taking on average 14 showings to get to an offer in our neighborhoods. If we are this close to getting an offer, let's wait and see what happens with our showing schedule tonight. And if we don't get an offer, let's discuss a price reduction. So it's whatever's going on. And then if we're on the market for longer than 30 days, which is a thing right now, they get an update from me statistics wise at the beginning of every month. So like our data is 1 month behind in a system I use called InfoSparks that I give them all this data from. And so the data is average days on market, average sales price so that they can see if we're above or below, average how long it would take to absorb all the inventory that's currently on the market. So like Monday's was if we not another house was listed in our neighborhood. It would take 2.5 months to sell all of these houses. So it gives you an idea of buyer activity in our area. And then it's taking an average of 14 showings to get to an offer, and we're at 11 showings. So it's just a very clear and concise like data. And I always tell my clients, we make data-driven decisions. And so everything that I give to them is data-driven, so that way they know, like, I'm not only telling them this, but I'm giving them what they need to know so that we can make decisions together.
Well, I think that's really great because, first of all, numbers don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody can appreciate data points because these are things that your sellers just want to know. And instead of, having them text you every other day, you've set an expectation with them that every Monday you're going to get this email and you're going to know all the information that you need to know. And then, after 30 days or whatever it is, we can then reevaluate. But if it gets to a certain point, they kind of know the conversation that's going to happen. Let's talk about, just pulling up your expectations. So you're very expectation heavy, which is super important. Everybody needs to set expectations. Like I said before, that helps you have that 3 to 4 hour workday. So when you go into a listing consultation, I'm going to go over the expectations, but when do you set the expectations? At what point?
So it's in my listing presentation. So
Okay.
we go over it right there.
It's not at the beginning. Right?
No, it's like, we kind of go through everything, and then it's, in that area where we're like, what do you do for me? And I think, one of the biggest issues we as real estate agents have is we feel like we have to be on all the time, and that's the only way that they're going to love us. That's not true. And, I think I even told you, go look at my reviews. Like, my reviews, everyone talks about my communication and how great it is, all of my reviews. And so for me, we're going to set that tone up front, that this is what you're going to expect. This is how it's going to go. So we talk about, and it also gives them an opportunity to know me. And so I think that that's really important too. Like, I'm a human being too, with a family and a life. And I think it's really important.
No, you're not. You're a real estate agent.
I'm just a realtor bot. You're right. It's my whole personality. So that conversation is then the what, marketing piece, and what can you expect from me? So I answer my phone between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. I don't answer after 7 p.m. Like, I just don't. If I do, it's like a one-off. But you teach people how to treat you. So if I'm going to start answering, then I should have an expectation that that's okay now, and they're going to reach out to me.
As soon as you open that door, you can't close it.
It's Pandora's box. So you just can't do it. They're going to get an update from me daily as long as there is something to update them on. So like, hey, I'm working on getting showing feedback from our showing yesterday. You already know they're going to ask you. So just tell them I'm working on it. Don't give them the opportunity to reach out to you. And some of this comes with time in the business. Like, I just want to be very clear about that. Like, some of us don't know some of these things yet. And I've been doing this long enough that, like, I know the questions they're going to ask, and I don't want them to ask me. So like, I'm just going to deal with it myself.
Yeah. I love that, because I think, like, obviously they're going to ask questions, but if you can answer the most important questions before they ask, I mean, that just is so much value.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so you don't answer calls after 7. You don't pick up your phone before 9 a.m. They'll get an update from you daily by 9 a.m. as needed, but every Monday, 100%. You respond within 1 hour during working hours. How do you do that?
I mean, bluntly, my phone is just up my ass during those times, right? Like, it's just the truth. So if that's the expectation I'm setting, then that's what they're going to get from me. And I always tell them, if I take longer than an hour to respond, assume that I'm probably with a client. Mm-hmm. I'm at a doctor's appointment. There's something else going on, but pretty much you can always
give or take
me to respond within an hour. I mean, even when you text me, I respond pretty quick.
Yeah, and I text you like ridiculous stuff. Stuff that doesn't need to be responded to, basically. Okay, right. So staging for staging consultation. If you do want your home staged, they will pay for it.
Yeah. Like, okay, we're just setting that up front. Like, I'm not paying $10,000 to stage your house or $5,000. It's expensive. Like, that's on you.
And if they don't want to hire a stager, can you just use what they have to like rearrange?
Yeah, I mean, I have a stager that'll come in and do a consult and help them. So that I'll pay for that, but I'm not paying for whole house staging.
That makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
You don't do open houses. So sellers are obsessed with open houses. How do you get over that hurdle?
So one, the area I do the most business in doesn't even allow open house signs. So like, thank you for that. Like all of these agents were like, we're going to go fight this. And I'm like, no, please don't. So they don't even allow them. So it's
fine. It's good.
Like, everything's great. You know, and the reality of it is like, they're just not well attended in our area. And I just explained that to them. Like, they're just not well attended. So I'm going to kick you out of your house for 2 to 4 hours on a Saturday. And you got to go find somewhere for you, the kids and the dog. And one person's going to come through. That's probably not even real. So, but if you do want one, we'll schedule that 7 days in advance. And I will find an agent who will come and work an open house for me. And they're fine with it. And it actually, that goes in our listing agreement that seller acknowledges that I don't host open houses.
Got it. If the property is vacant, it's your responsibility to arrange for lawn care, cleaners, snow shoveling. You're happy to give recommendations. You hear a lot of stories about agents who are cutting grass and shoveling snow and yada, yada, yada. Like when I purchased my house in Michigan, the owners weren't there. When I moved in, the grass was like 3 feet high. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I love that you set that expectation. And this is my favorite. And Steve, I see your comment in the chat and I'll get to it. I know, because I know Steve's got to run to an appointment. Your clients are not allowed to panic unless you do. So tell me about that.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's one of those things that like, I've seen enough stuff in this business at this point that like, listen, I get it. Like, it's super stressful for you. Unless I am freaking out, there's probably nothing to freak out about. And I may not have a solution for you right this second. Give me a little bit. I'm going to call you back with a solution. Like, you may not like it, but there's always a solution that we're going to find. So you just like, don't panic. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah. Like, I like this. It's like the house is on fire. Cool. I mean, I'm not a firefighter. What do you want me to, I don't have a giant truck and a hose. I mean, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's obviously an exaggerated example, but it's true. It's like,
it is true.
Yeah. So Steve wants to know in the chat, do your work hours change on the weekends? What are your weekends like? Because if you follow Jessica on social media, she's always at her baseball games, her kids' baseball games. She's always just like, she's just doing stuff. She's living her life. So what do your weekends look like?
I rarely work weekends. So, and I think that's in the expectation thing. Like, my son is in a highly competitive baseball league. I was gone basically 6 weeks this summer. I went to every single game all out of state. I think we've done almost 100 baseball games this summer, and I've made every one except for this last one that they just added in, and that's not my fault. So I hardly ever work weekends. Everything is done by appointment. If you want to see houses, you have to give me 24 hours notice. My schedule will never impact their ability to get into a house, though. So like, I will find a showing agent if I need to. I will pay money to show me if I need to. My schedule will never impact them getting into a home. And similarly, their schedule will never impact my family.
See, I love that because like you're always going to get them into a house. Mm-hmm. Right? It might not be that second, but it's going to happen. But let's switch over to buyers. I know you don't work a ton with buyers, but this is my favorite expectation on your buyer expectation list. You tell them, I don't look for houses for you. So like every realtor out there is like, my job is to find my clients the perfect home. You don't agree with that. So when you have that conversation, what's their reaction? Because they're probably like, what? Right? So how does that work?
I mean, usually they just kind of laugh at first. And I'm like, listen, you're excited. Not that I'm not excited for you, but like, you're excited. You're on Zillow every second of every day. You're on Redfin. You're doing all these things. I don't care how you send me the house, whether it's a Zillow link or Redfin link, don't care. Smoke signal, pigeon carrier, just send me the house. I will go through them, and based off of your criteria, like, I will tell you my opinion. But the reality of it is, my value to you as an agent is not to peruse the MLS all day long. My value to you as an agent is to get you under contract, get you the best deal that I can, make sure you're protected on inspection, all of the different aspects of the transaction that you can't see yet. That's where my value to you is. But sitting on the MLS all day ain't it.
I feel like, in the good old days, right? Before the internet, before Zillow, because I do remember those days, believe it or not. You had to do that because the client had no other way of knowing what was out there unless they looked in the newspaper. So
back when the MLS was actually exclusive.
Yeah, right. Exactly. When it was a giant book. But now your clients, no matter if you set them up on your portal, they're going to go to Zillow. There's nothing you can do about it. They are trained. Zillow has done that. They have done that so well. They are trained to go to Zillow. But my question to you is, how do you keep them from looking at 50 homes if you leave that up to them?
I mean, so again, I'll go through them and I'm like, this one backs to electric towers. This one is nowhere in the location. It's still that kind of stuff. It's not just, whiling out over here, but I'm just not going to sit here and send you houses. I'm also candidly not even going to set you up on an MLS search because our MLS is so antiquated.
You're right.
And you're going to go to Zillow anyway, to your point. So just send me the link.
So that's interesting. Okay, so they'll send you a house on Zillow, and you're like, okay, you'll look at it real quick, and you'll say, based on what you told me you're looking for, because you will have that conversation. Based on what you told me you're looking for, this has a electric tower 100 feet away, or this doesn't have a swimming pool, or this one backs up to a highway. You'll tell them what they told you they didn't want if you see that they sent you a house. Right, that makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, your expectations are the same. No calls or texts after 7 or before 9. You will never let your schedule interfere with them seeing a home. You'll respond within an hour. You're not allowed to panic unless you're panicking. So all that is the same. But I just think that I think that one of the reasons why agents have a hard time setting these types of expectations is because they lack the confidence to go in there and do this. If you're going in and you're unsure of yourself, or if you are in a situation where you're living commission to commission, you're not going to have the confidence that you need in order to tell someone, listen, I don't answer my phone after 7 p.m. That's a really hard conversation to have, but you need to go in there like your shit doesn't stink, but in a nice way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel that
to piggyback really fast, I just wanted to add I make them drive by the house before we go see it. I just wanted to say that also, because that alleviates me having to go show them a house that they wouldn't have liked anyway. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. I think
you're go drive by it, see if you like the area.
Yeah, and then we'll go see the 4 that you like the best.
That's amazing. Brenna in the chat, sometimes we have to remind them of what they want. I love that. That's so true. That's so true. Because one of my very good friends, Saria Finkelstein, I'm not sure if you're familiar with who she is, but she's in Florida. She's very heavy with buyers. She has a well-known 2-hour buyer consultation. And she just asks question upon question upon question upon question. So for example, if you're having these conversations with your buyers and they say that if there's a house with carpet, it's a deal breaker, then they send you a house and then you say, well, this master bedroom has carpet. You said that was a deal breaker. Is that still true? Oh, well, no, we could rip up the carpet. Okay, so that's not a deal breaker. Then we could go see it, but drive by it and see if you like it. You got to ask questions upon questions because they don't think about those other little intricacies. Rebecca says that you can eliminate a lot of looking just by passing through the neighborhood. 100%. Seeing where the house is located, seeing what the street looks like, that type of stuff. So very important. I love that. I'm gonna do that. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Dang it. What do you
so much time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. What do you feel your most important expectation is to set? Out of all of these expectations, what's the most important for you to stick to?
I think for me, it's that I'll respond. I hear all the time that I can't get a call back. And when I say I respond, it's not just to my clients, it's to lenders, it's the title company, it's my other agents that are showing my properties and have questions for me. When I say like that, I mean everyone.
Okay.
Part of my job is to communicate really well with everybody so that my clients don't have drama, so that my clients don't have issues. And I think we forget that in this business, that it's not just your client you're serving everybody in this transaction.
Yeah. When did you, when did you start to, these expectations didn't just happen all at once, right? I'm assuming. Like you didn't sit down one day when you got into real estate and said, this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm not going to do. Did it just kind of build on itself over time?
I mean, like, yes and no, right? So when I first got into real estate, my husband worked for the railroad, and I had, at the time the boys were obviously much littler, and I was basically a single mom with 2 kids. And the only time that I didn't have a kid around was 3 hours in the morning while the one was in school and the other one was in preschool. And so that was all I really had to work in my real estate business. And so the 3-hour workday built off of that. But like, obviously, as time goes on and you get busier and life changes, like things had to change too. But I always wanted to be a mom. Like for those that know me well, like I had a baby at 17. And so as I was able to move into this career, it was just paramount to me to be able to be a mom. And if that meant I lost clients, that meant I lost clients. And so a little bit of both. Like, yes, it's kind of always been this way. And then obviously I've gotten much better at articulating it and laying everything out over time.
Quick question. Amy has a question in the chat, but I have a question first and I'll get to Amy's question. You said you have a VA and a transaction coordinator. Okay, so what does your VA do for you?
So JJ at this point is basically like an executive assistant. He handles all of my marketing, all of my advertising, my lead magnets that I do.
Lead maggots?
I know, right? Gross. He handles all of my events. He handles, JJ is literally like, I would die without him at this point. So he took over all of that stuff and made it like 10 times better. So all of the stuff that I was so like afraid of giving up to someone, he does it a million times better than I ever could. Yeah. So he does all my reverse prospecting, all of my advertising. He just does everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so Amy and Raven in the chat. Let's start with Amy. So how much of your business is past clients, SOI? What ways are generating new leads to sustain this volume each year? Definitely inspired by you. That's awesome. So yeah, where's most of your business from?
So my farm lately. So I started farming my neighborhood 7 years ago when we moved in. So I have 8 listings in my neighborhood right now. My goal is
your neighborhood.
Huh?
How big is your neighborhood? Like what's the size?
2,500 houses. So it's a big neighborhood.
Yeah.
But my goal is to basically walk to every listing appointment. Like I hate driving. So again, like back to like expectations, knowing who you are, knowing what you're good at, like all of those things.
I forgot and I'm lazy. Like I won't take a listing unless I can walk there in under 5 minutes. I love it.
Well, and like too, it's selfish. Like I will say that. Like I think I don't know if it's a selfish business that I run because I'm a very giving person, but I also know that I'm better in the area that I work, right? It also makes it easier for me to do these Monday emails because it's all basically in the same area. So it's all like batching is the best way to think about it. Like that's the way that my brain works, which I know not everyone's brain works that way. But for me, like it's just easier. Like just live and play and work where you are.
Yeah, I love it. So Raven in the chat has a great question. Do you feel there are clients who are turned off by the rules that you set, and how do you overcome that?
Yeah, I don't care. I had a lady leave me a review on Google saying all these like horrible things about me. And I was like, cool, because she wanted me to basically be able to give her a breakdown of every neighborhood in the Denver metro area. And I was like, that's not even real. Like, and anyone who tells you that's real is lying to you. Like, I'm good in the areas I'm good in.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I don't care. Well, you when we talked a week or so ago, you have your ideal client. And so let's just talk about that real quick. It's important to have your ideal client. Because if you have your ideal client, you always know who you want to work with. And you're always going to have a great time. You're never going to burn out. So you have an ideal client of people. And if they don't like that you don't answer your phone after 7 or that you go to your kids' baseball games, then okay, There's thousands of other agents they can choose from. No big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there is an agent for everyone.
You got to have the confidence to walk away, because when you walk away, it makes you look so much bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will share something that happened this week, as a matter of fact. So I was fired for the first time in my career this week, and I was really upset about it at first. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? This is actually on my shoulders. I took a client on that's well outside of my zone that I normally work in, and it was because it was a referral from my best friend, and I felt obligated to help them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a good match. It wasn't a good match personality-wise, first and foremost, and it wasn't a good match business-wise. Like it was outside of my normal area. It's just so as easy as it was for me to sit here and say, she's crazy, the house was overpriced, everything sucks. Ultimately, I took a listing I shouldn't have, and that's the truth. And then weirdly, we got an offer on it, and I'm letting the new agent handle half of it, and I'm going to take the other half.
Okay, there you go. Alex says generate so you don't have to tolerate. Love that. That should be like a bumper sticker. Brenda, curious to know how much you pay your TC and your VA.
So I actually don't pay my TC anything, and the reason for that is it's actually charged to my clients. That's in our.
Let's talk about that real quick. That's awesome. So you have like a transaction fee? Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you charge for that? Like $300, $400, something like that?
It's $425.
Okay. And it's paid at closing, I would assume. Yep. And I love that because the TC then has a investment in the deal, right? I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I mean, she doesn't get paid from anybody until the deal closes, regardless.
Well, that's what I mean. So she's invested in making sure the deal stays together too, and has everything together. And your VA is what? Like, is it from a VA company?
Yeah, but JJ is very bougie. He is on the more expensive side for a VA. So I pay JJ $10.50 an hour.
Okay. And everyone has to know JJ's probably overseas, and people have a lot of problems with how little it costs to pay a VA. But you have to understand, if JJ's in the Philippines, $10.50 an hour, dude's a millionaire. Like,
oh, he sends me pictures out all the time with his friends, drinking wine. He's living life.
The Philippines, $10.50 an hour is a lot of money. Yeah. A lot of money. So lab coat agents, we pay one of ours like $15 an hour, and she's like traveling the world. I'm like, what the heck? I'm in the wrong country right now. Raven wants to know how you found your VA, but you could go to like Power ISA. There's a lot of VA companies that have great ones. You just have to find the right one. One more question. Oh my God, there's so many questions. People are now like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. I love this. We'll just give it a few more minutes. Aside from farming, what are you doing to lead generate?
So so farming and my sphere is the biggest one. I grew up in Denver. My parents own businesses in Denver. I'm very fortunate to have a huge network around me. I get and referrals. I get a ton of agent referrals as well.
Okay, love that. Brenda says that's my girl. Ninja move for the TC. I'm just saying it the way Brenda's probably saying it. That's awesome. Do you have him full time? Does he need more work? Amy says.
Nope, JJ's mine. Back off.
JJ's like. No, I was gonna say JJ's like a babysitter. Like when you find a babysitter that you love, you don't want to tell anyone about that babysitter, even though like you want that babysitter to make more money. You're like, I'm not telling you who my babysitter is.
I'll just pay JJ more money before he's going to anybody else.
How many hours a week is your VA?
So I pay him for 40 hours a week, no matter what. Like, I think it's crazy that we here are sitting here going, well, I think he only worked 37 hours. I don't care. Here's your 40 hours. I love you. You did all this for me this week. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. And here's the thing with a VA, you got to treat them. I'm sure you have like a title for him, right?
JJ's title is, he is the creative director of the Selling Dreams team.
Yeah. You got to include them in the business. They have to be a part of the business. They just can't be your VA. You know what I mean? Like our main
expect them to like know. They don't know. You have to train them.
Raven, she said that she pays him $10.50 an hour. So awesome. Well, listen, I'm sure people have a million questions. you know, they can find you on social media. Jessica Lentz on Facebook. She's very active. She's in a ton of Facebook groups. She posts a lot. You can find her. Just don't comment anything after 7 p.m. because she's on Do Not Disturb. I know, and I can vouch for you being on Do Not Disturb. But you reply to me, so I feel super honored.
You're not a client. I mean, you're my friend.
The second I become a client, you're like you're not going to respond to my texts.
I'm like, oh, there's the boundary, Nick.
Angela just says Jessica's a real deal and an amazing agent in person. So people love you. Yeah, but where can they find you? Instagram, Facebook,
Facebook. Yeah, just at Jessica Lentz, and I think Instagram's like Jessica Lentz Realtor, something like that.
Yeah, there's only like one Jessica Lentz, Lentz. So Jessica.
There's another one. She got arrested recently, and she looks like me.
Got arrested for what?
She looks like me. I had like 4 people send me this message, and I'm like, nope, wasn't in wherever.
I just found out there's another Nick Baldwin with Keller Williams in Birmingham, Michigan, which is only like 30 minutes from my house. I'm like, I've been to that market. So how did I not know that there's another Nick Baldwin in Michigan?
Oh my gosh, you're going to have to take a photo with him. You guys have to meet.
I mean, either that or he's just going to have to disappear. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm not a mobster. Crystal wants to be like you. Jessica, thank you so much for being here. We super appreciate it. Your time. I know it's valuable. What are you doing this afternoon? What's your schedule like?
Well, we were laughing about it earlier. I'm actually hosting a broker open that I wasn't supposed to talk about today.
Oh, well, you didn't have to bring that up.
I know. So basically, I'll be standing in a house by myself with a charcuterie board and drinking Prosecco by myself. So if anybody wants to text me and keep me entertained, please do.
I'll text you memes all day.
Yes, please do.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Jessica, you're awesome. We appreciate you. If you want to watch the replay, I don't know if it's streamed live to our YouTube, but if it didn't, we're usually pretty good with Casey says going to your broker open, so she's going to go there so you're not drinking alone.
Yay.
Yeah, the replay will be on youtube.com/labcodeagents. We're usually pretty quick with turning it around. It's usually same day. So if you want to get notified when it gets posted, go to our Lab Code Agents page and subscribe and turn on notifications, and you'll get notified. And if you're signed up for our newsletter, you'll get the replay there too. You can go to labcodeagents.com and sign up for the newsletter. Anyway, thanks everybody. Have an amazing day. We'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.